And as we look ahead to a court hearing next week for now former GRPD officer Christopher Schurr, attorneys for the family of Patrick Lyoya are poised to file a civil suit as well.
They tell our Doug Reardon they're just waiting on one thing. Doug?
Yeah, good evening, guys. It's the same thing that we've been waiting on, that Michigan State Police report into the deadly use of force incident back in April. We're expecting it to be back pretty soon, too. They give us a 25-day business day processing time 26 days ago. So once Attorney Ben Johnson has that report, he'll file a suit. But it is a little more complicated than that. Do you have any plans to do this in the near future?
Yes, we will be doing it in the near future. We're all set, ready to go. I could file it today if I wanted to. But again, I want to look at what the Michigan State Police say.
And once he has the report, Ben Johnson, attorney for the family of Patrick Lyoya, will add a civil lawsuit on top of former GRPD officer Christopher Schurr's criminal case for the deadly April 4th shooting. But it's a bit more nuanced than that. It's not an easy thing to sue a city or one of their employees.
One of the things that folks, I guess, don't get and don't understand under Michigan law is when you sue somebody who works for the government. So in this case, a City of Grand Rapids employee, thanks to this thing called governmental immunity. Basically, they block you in advance from doing it.
That being the case, Johnson might have to file the suit in federal court under an 1871 statute that lets people sue a government for civil rights violations. No immunity. Johnson says to him, the practice itself is unfair.
Governmental immunity is, I believe, to be not only wrong, it's unconstitutional. I think it's evil because it puts governmental employees above you and me.
And Johnson says just as criminal lawyers would seek the maximum amount of jail time, he's seeking the maximum amount of money.
That's the only remedy is money. When you bury your 26-year-old firstborn son, nothing's going to make them feel better about that.
Asked why not just skip the city and sue Schurr on his own?
Chris Schurr, with all due respect, doesn't have a pot to you-know-what in. So I could sue him all day long. And it's going to mean nothing. What matters is whether the City of Grand Rapids steps up like they should, says he was our officer. He thought he was doing the right thing. It took a horrible turn.
Yeah. And Johnson is currently in the middle of another federal lawsuit against GRPD for use of force. You might remember it during the riots tied to racial injustice in the summer of 2020. This guy right there, Sean Hart, he was shot at point blank with one of these, a tear gas canister. As part of that lawsuit, what Johnson did was look at use of force complaints between June 2015 and June 2020 at GRPD, right when those riots happened. And what he found were there were 78 of them, all the complaints made to the department in that time. And of those, 51 officers ended up being exonerated. 12 use of force cases were found to be unfounded. 9 of them were not sustained. 4 of them ended up being withdrawn. Only 2 use of force cases in 5 years ended up being sustained by the department, just 2 of them. He believes this shows a pattern of lack of discipline and lack of accountability at the department. We'll touch more on this when it is filed, but for now, live in the studio, Doug Reardon, Fox 17 News.